Welcome to Living Faith Midweek Devotions. This is our third and final week of our series, Happy Holy Home. We started with the foundation, that the foundation is to be on Christ, and so often homes and marriages and relationships are more about self first and what we want and the pleasures we want to fill, and not about what God wants for us. And then also, the second week, we talked about test driving. Let's test drive things. Let's not make a full commitment into a relationship, but let's see if it's going to work for us, especially marriage. And God says, well, that's not really my plan. And a lot of times, even if the plan wasn't to test drive the marriage, the decision is, oh, we can break this off because it's not working for us anymore. Or I need to find some way to fulfill my desires somewhere else, and so the marriage bond is broken. What do you do with life for a happy, holy home after infidelity? That is hard. Well, let's look at the words of John chapter 8 today, the first 11 verses, as we can see how Jesus responds to a woman caught into adultery, but also how he responds to those trying to call her out into adultery. John 8, chapter 1. But Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. At dawn, he appeared again in the temple courts, where all the people gathered around him, and he sat down to teach them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group, and they said to Jesus, Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery, and the law of Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say? They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. But Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. And they kept on questioning him. He straightened up and said to them, Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her. Again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away one at a time, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left, with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened up and asked her, Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you? No one, sir. No one, sir, she said. Then neither do I condemn you. Jesus declared, Go now and leave your life of sin. What do you do when it was 3 instead of 2? When vows were broken, when trust was shattered, when your heart feels like it's been ripped out or fully open, or maybe when you were the one who broke it. This Sunday, we're finishing our Happy Holy Home series, and we're stepping into the hardest conversation of all, life after infidelity. And before you click away, this isn't just for married couples. If you're single, this matters. If you're dating, this matters. If you're divorced, it still matters. If you grew up in a home marked by betrayal, this matters. Because infidelity doesn't just affect two people, it ripples. It reaches into children's bedrooms, it reaches into friendships, it reaches into church pews. It shakes identity, security, and trust. Statistics tell us that unfaithfulness remains one of the leading causes of divorce in America. But statistics don't tell you about the silence at the dinner table, the awkward holidays, the late night tears, the quiet shame. And here's what makes this uncomfortable. Jesus doesn't limit infidelity to a physical act. You know what he says in Matthew chapter 5? Anyone who looks lustfully has already committed adultery in his heart. Suddenly, this isn't just about someone else's story. It's about ours. Because infidelity typically grows in the same soil every time. Dissatisfaction, temptation, and opportunity. Dissatisfaction whispers, I have needs. Temptation knocks. Opportunity opens the door. And in a culture that teaches us to consume instead of covenant, we start loving ourselves more than we love our neighbor. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 22, love your neighbor as yourself. Marriage is meant to reflect that. But here's the deeper truth. We have all been unfaithful. Maybe not to a spouse, but to God. We have wandered. We have chased lesser loves. We have broken covenant. And yet, He remained faithful. That's why John 8, which we read, is so powerful. A woman caught in adultery is dragged before Jesus. Public shame. Stones are ready to be thrown, and there's no defense that she has. And did you hear what Jesus says? Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to cast a stone. One by one, the stones drop. And then he looks at her and says, neither do I condemn you. Go now and leave your life of sin. Do you see the balance? He doesn't excuse her sin, but he doesn't crush her with it. Grace doesn't deny sin. Grace defeats it. This Sunday, we're going to wrestle honestly with questions like, is there hope after infidelity? Are there grounds for divorce? Are there ever grounds not to forgive? How long does healing take? What does reconciliation really look like? I'll tell you this much now. Healing is a process. After an affair, it's like recovering from major surgery. You have to clean and dress the wound, apply ointment again and again, guard against infection. And the deeper the wound, the longer it takes to heal. But here's the promise from Hebrews 13. Never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you. Human spouses sometimes leave. God never does. Human spouses sometimes forsake. God never does. When we were unfaithful, He sent His Son to be faithful unto death for us. On the cross, Jesus absorbed every broken vow, every secret message, every hidden fantasy, every betrayal. So that today, whether you were betrayed or you were the betrayer, you can hear Him say, neither do I condemn you. And also, go now and leave your life of sin. This Sunday isn't about shame. It's about hope. It's about bringing what's been hidden into the light. It's about protecting your heart before protecting your image. It's about saving souls before saving marriages. Because a happy, holy home isn't a perfect home. It's a redeemed one. Dear friend, if you've ever been tempted, if you've ever been disappointed, if you've ever whispered, I have needs, if you've ever carried regret, if you've ever wondered whether healing is possible, you need to be there for that message, either online or in person, not for condemnation, but for restoration. Join us this Sunday as we finish Happy Holy Home with a message that might just change the trajectory of your heart and your home. I can't wait to see you there. Till next time, God be with you, dear friends.